Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I am joined by the beautiful Heather Arbuckle. Heather, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am amazing. It is so great to have you here. But before we talk about why you're here, Heather, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. She's a writer and aspiring fiction author, currently in college studying creative writing. She's published two poems thus far, and she's always been extraordinarily passionate for the art of storytelling and the beautiful impact it can leave on you. So I know you said you've had two poems published so far. Is there anywhere that we can read these poems?
Yes, so they're currently published in the literary journal for Truckee Meadows Community College. It's called the Meadow, and
Okay.
it's free online.
Well, you guys don't have to go far to look for that because I have that link right down in the description. So make sure you're checking that out so you can check out some of her poetry. Obviously, movies, been your best friend, mentor, teacher since you were a very young age. Your objective in life is to make your own contribution through your writing and share your passion with others. And horror, obviously, very important to all of us. I think
Mhm.
that's why we're all here doing this. So you finally started creating horror content on Instagram about a year ago. And also just started your YouTube channel. So, what made you want to decide to start making horror content?
Horror content's always been my favorite. I feel like since I was really young, it's been more exciting than cartoons. It replaced cartoons for me a long time ago. Um, but it's just my passion. I'm really excited about horror movies, movies in general, writing, all that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to start my Instagram a year and a half ago roughly. And it's just been a really good journey. The horror community is just so great. They're so supportive, everything. And as a fellow horror movie enthusiast, it's just been really great. So I started off by just posting and seeing where it went, doing movie reviews, which I really love to do. And then I met a lot of people and was able to collaborate. Raven's House of Entertainment has been a really cool thing I've been able to do, and an opportunity to co-host and be a featured guest on his podcast. So that's been really, really awesome. And here I am with you. So I'm really grateful.
No, I'm super stoked to have you. And like I said, she also just started her YouTube channel. So make sure not only are you reading the poetry, but make sure because I have all of Heather's social media links down in the description. So make sure you're following on social media. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. She just started that. So let's help her get started with a bang here. I'm very excited to see the content that you have. And like I said, those links, you don't have to go far. Scroll up just a little bit and click, and you'll be right there. So in order for you to create horror content, whether it be through Instagram, through YouTube, horror had to start for you somewhere, Heather. So now I would like to go back to the past and talk about what got you started in the horror genre, your first horror movie. And Heather, the first horror movie you watched was?
It was Child's Play.
Now I have to ask, because we do have two movies of the same title, we are talking
Oh,
about Andy Barclay's OG, right?
of course. Of
Okay.
course.
Fantastic movie. Anybody that knows me knows that this is my absolute favorite horror franchise. It's just one that's been with me since I was very young, and it's carried me along the way. I've met so many friends and done so many things because of the Child's Play franchise. So, do you remember about how old you were the first time you had seen it?
Like 4 or 5. I
Great
know.
age to start. Great
Yeah,
age to start.
right. And like it's been kind of wishy-washy like that long ago. It's hard to remember nowadays. But I think I had seen bits and pieces of things, but that one for sure stuck out to me and had a big impact.
Yeah, and it's one of those movies, especially as a child, I feel like the reason it resonated with us so much is because we had dolls, whether it was Barbies or action figures or Cabbage Patch
Mhm.
Kids or good guys in some situations. Those were things we had around the house. And so to see one of those come to life in a violent way really was effective to a child where what might not have been for an adult watching it the first time. So do you
Mhm.
remember who you were with the first time you had seen it?
I think I was alone, honestly. My I know my parents they worked a lot, so I was always kind of like on my own. And TV and movies, film, all that was like a huge comfort and distraction for me from like for them too. They're like, she's watching a movie, it's totally cool. Doesn't matter what it is.
Let me just lay down for 5 more minutes.
Yeah. I think remember watching it, it was I think something that they did really, really well with that is just there's just so much creative brilliance. They took that theme of toys and like being so appealing to the eye that there's just color and
Mhm.
toys throughout the entire movie, whether it's the look of Chucky. He's got orange hair, the blue overalls, the striped shirt clearly is colorful. Um, the wallpaper, even the toggles in the psychiatric ward are red and they just look like a gaming controller. So
Yeah,
throughout the whole thing, it's really cool. And then it's ironic too, because he's called a good guy, which is the exact opposite of what he is. He's a bad guy. So it's just awesome.
exactly. And it's portrayed so well, especially your first time watching. They're always hinting at the very beginning that Andy might just be this crazy kid, and like, when he's
Mhm.
talking, we never see Chucky move until the middle of the second act. And
Yep.
segue alert. Do you remember which scene it was that affected you the most?
Yeah, so it is when Chucky finally comes alive in Karen's hands and just bites her and goes off.
I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
One of the most iconic scenes, in my opinion, in all of horror. When he starts thrashing at her and calling her names, and like that's
Yeah.
just one of those moments that the first time you see it and you see that face just finally move, I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's definitely pee in my pants right now. So, um,
Yeah.
that's just one of those moments that I really feel will stand the test of time. No matter how old the movie
Mhm.
gets, that one will get you every single time. And it's a very iconic movie in general. A lot of the things
Mhm.
that happen in this movie are still iconic to this day for how low the budget was. We know which scene affected you the most, Heather, but what would you say your favorite scene from the film is?
Mm. You know, I think there was just something really I love that they had to get creative with it. It's not your typical slasher where he's just stabbing people all the
Mhm.
time. There's the electrocution scene, I think was one of my favorites, where he electrocutes the doctor and you just see those glimpses of blood in the editing where
Mhm.
he's just frying the crap out of him.
Yeah. That to me is one of the most underrated moments in this film, which also segues into
Mhm.
my next question, which you might have just answered, because the deaths in this movie are few and far between. There's
Mhm.
not very many deaths in this movie, but every single death in this movie is super memorable, super impactful.
Mhm.
Which death would you say it was that was the one that affected you the most?
Oh, when Chucky visits his old voodoo mentor, that was now that I'm thinking about that, that might just be tied, if not better for me. There's so much color in that. The walls, the voodoo knife, the little mojo, the little
Mhm.
guy that he stabs and breaks. As a kid watching that, I was like, wow, there's so much to look at.
You shouldn't
But
tell
yeah,
your
that one.
friends, you shouldn't tell your customers where you keep these things, John. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I I wish we could have got more moments like that. That's my second favorite kill in the
Hmm.
whole franchise, behind Child's
Yeah.
Play 2 with the eyeballs. Like that, the eyeball
Mm.
scene in Child's Play 2 at the toy factory scared me more than probably any other scene in the world. And I don't know why, but I watched that movie very young, and that scene just I had nightmares repeatedly about the toy eyes in the guy's head for so long. And
It's an image.
damn it, I love this franchise so much.
Yeah.
So it did just recently get the remake treatment. We did get the Child's Play remake in 2019. Were you a fan of the Child's Play remake? Have you seen it, and are you a fan of it?
I have seen it, and no, I was not.
I'm the opposite. I fucking love it. Which
Really?
is funny. I wouldn't even go see it at first. I was like, nope, I'm a John Mancini guy. I have no reason to watch it. But I feel like they, even though they fucked, they really screwed Don Mancini in the whole, in the situation. I thought the movie was great. I love the fact that they didn't have a Charles Lee Ray. That's already been done. I love the fact there was no Ade Dewey Dembele. That stuff's already been done. You're not going to do that any better. How do we take this movie and make it our own? And I thought they did a really good job. The only thing I would change personally, and for repeat viewers, I'm so sorry you got to hear me say this shit again. If I would have been one of the people that was producing or marketing, I would have said, why don't we name this movie Buddy from the world of Child's Play? That way we can have our own DAO. We can name it whatever the hell we want. We're not taking away from Don Mancini and his baby that he's still working on today very proudly. We can make this its own entity in the world of Child's Play. We don't got to force the name Chucky on it. We don't got to do any of that. We can just make it our own. And then they could have spawned sequels because they didn't even own the rights to the name Child's Play 2. So if the movie would have been super successful, they couldn't have done a sequel anyway, but we could have fucking got that Buddy Bear movie that I want so bad. But I don't know. And that's another thing. Like, to call it Chucky and have the doll be completely different is like making brand new Friday the 13th and having Jason wear a football helmet instead of a hockey mask. Like, if you're gonna use the exact same doll, you got to use the same doll. So I see why people didn't like it. I see why some people did like it. I think it's brutal. I think the acting is phenomenal. I think it's genuinely funny. But that's just my opinion. And we're not here to talk about me, Heather. We're here to talk about you. So this is a big franchise now, and it's still going with the TV show. Throughout the whole franchise, which one would you say is your favorite in the whole franchise?
Bride of Chucky. I love
Can't go
Bride
wrong.
of Chucky. Yeah.
I mean, everything's better with a bride.
Yeah.
Have you been watching the TV show?
Oh yeah. I just finished the first part of season 3. Love it. Love it.
I don't. Oh man, it's weird. Like, the first season, I absolutely loved. The second season, I thought was mediocre. It had its great moments, but overall, I wasn't a huge fan. And season 3, like, we only had 4 episodes, and like the first 2 or 3, I was like, oh my god, this is so great. And then the next ones, I was like, what are they doing? Like, I'm all about violent, nasty Chucky, but when they start to get way too over the top with what they're doing with Chucky, I'm kind of like, can we bring it back just a hair? Bring it back.
Yeah.
Get
Down
back
to earth a little bit.
Yeah. So, and again, I can't argue with Bride of Chucky. That's my wife's favorite. It's a fantastic film, and I think that they really rejuvenated the Chucky franchise with that movie. Obviously, in the wake of Scream, you started getting all the meta moments in it, and it worked really, really well, in my opinion. So we know about your first horror movie now, Heather, and what that movie means to you, being Child's Play. But I do want to throw you a little bit of a curveball here for a second. My little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you. What's your favorite scary movie, Heather? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
Oh, favorite horror movie of all time? I love Evil Dead 2013.
Ooh,
It's just
best remake of all time.
I love it. There's everything that you want from the demonic and from demons and deadites. Like, they went so sinister with it. And just like once they started, they didn't stop. They just went over the top in the best way. I just love what Fede Alvarez did with that one.
Yeah. And one of my big things with that movie is it was so smart. Like, how they took her out to the cabin to help her kick dope. Like, it wasn't, hey, let's go party in the woods. Like, no, we're going out here. You're going to get off of dope, and you're not going anywhere. They had a good reason to go there and a good reason to stay. And obviously, one of my good friends, Lou Taylor Pucci, he kills it in that movie. He's the most adorable person, and every time, I just want to hug him to death. I love you, Lou. I thought he was going to be the Ash in the movie when we went to see it, because he started off with that nerdy, kind of like Ash did in the first Evil Dead. He was like the nerdy, quiet guy that found the book and was doing all the shit. I was like, oh, no way, he's going to be our Bruce in the movie. It worked out either way, but
I know he was a great character too. He just couldn't get a break, but it was great.
A little behind the scenes thing. There's a moment in the movie where the girl's like, why does my face hurt? And Lou starts laughing in the corner. That wasn't scripted. That was not in the script.
Really?
They had been filming for 14 straight hours. It was cold. Everybody was miserable. And she said it, and Lou just started laughing. And Fede was like, yes, we will do it again, and you laugh. Keep laughing. Keep laughing. And that's where that scene came from. And to me, that's one of the best moments in the film. And it was a total ad-lib part on Lou's part. And I was like, that is fucking genius, man. Like, that's so cool. So
I loved that scene because you've had those moments. We've all had those moments where everything is so fucked up that you sit there and you just have to laugh about it, but your laughing just turns into silent tears. So it was a relatable part. So it's good to know that that was authentic.
Right. And he said that his inspiration for doing that was Liam Neeson's character, or Liam Nielsen's character in Creep Show, when he's I can hold my breath for a long time and he just starts laughing because he's gone crazy. He was like, that moment just popped in my head and I just started laughing. And I was like, dude, that's so fucking great. Or Leslie Nielsen. Damn it. I'm sitting here like, why am I getting this wrong? Leslie Nielsen's character in Creep Show. God, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm thinking taken. I will find you. I will kill you. But no, Leslie Nielsen's character in Creep Show, when he does the I can hold my breath for a long time and he's just laughing because he's gone mad. Lou's like, the amount of blood he's lost, all the shit he's seen at this point, he's just snapped and he just starts laughing. He can't take it anymore. So, man, this has been amazing. Heather, talking to you, learning how horror started for you, your favorite horror movie, which couldn't agree with anymore. I've often said that Evil Dead 2013 is the best remake / reimagining of a film I've ever seen. They pay the fan service well, but they made it their own film. You don't need to watch the first one to completely understand this one, and I adore that about that film. So before I let you go, I do want to bounce back to Child's Play real quick. And what we're going to do is rank this movie on a skull count. Now, we're not ranking it on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. All we're doing is ranking this movie on how much it affected you on your first viewing. So with Child's Play, 0 skulls being not effective, 5 being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. Heather, what would your ranking of Child's Play be?
I'm giving it a 10.
I figured for how
I'm
much
giving it a
it's
10.
affected you, even through what I've seen you do through the Instagram stuff, where you and I had actually met. Child's Play has definitely had its impact on you.
Oh yeah, I love it, and it affected me so much. I remember you remember those Cabbage Patch dolls from back in the 90s?
Oh,
I
yeah.
had one that had red hair, and my parents, I remember the first time I watched it, it did actually freak me out to the point where I made them toss the doll. And they were so mad because they were like, this shit is expensive. What are you talking about? And so they tossed it. And then I went right back into watching the movie and just fell in love and could not stop consuming horror ever since. And they were like, well, if she's happy.
Right. Well, wish we could find that damn doll now.
Yeah.
And I know I said it at the beginning, guys, but we are at the end of the third act. The credits are about to roll and the curtain's about to drop. But before that happens, don't forget, I have all of Heather's social media links down in the description, as well as the link to her poetry. And most importantly, in my opinion, because it pays my bills, I have her YouTube link down in the description as well. So make sure you're subscribing to her YouTube channel so you can become a part of that family as well. There's nothing better when you're a creator than to have people along for the ride with you. So Heather, please don't go anywhere. I have a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, as always, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are down in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.